My dad makes more money playing Fortnite than I do as a lawyer. My dad came to me bored out of his mind because of his retirement, so I downloaded Fortnite on his laptop thinking it would keep him busy for an afternoon. He couldn't figure out which button made him jump. I sat next to him for the first hour, watching him stare at the controller like it was written in a foreign language. He kept hitting the wrong buttons, building walls in front of his own face, and getting eliminated within 30 seconds of landing. Every time he died, he'd look at me and say, "One more try." "Dad, maybe this isn't your kind of game. I just need to get the hang of it." He didn't get the hang of it. Not that day, or the next, or the week after that, but he kept playing. Every single night after dinner, I'd get texts from him with questions that started simple and got increasingly specific. First it was, how do I pick up weapons? Then, what's the best landing spot for beginners? Then, why does everyone build so fast when I shoot at them? I answered them all, amused at first, then slightly concerned when the questions kept coming at 11 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m. "Are you staying up playing Fortnite?" I asked him on the phone, just a couple rounds before bed. "Dad, it's 1 in the morning." Time got away from me. A month in, I stopped by his house to drop off some mail and found him at his desk with a notebook. He'd drawn a map of the island by hand, marking different locations with notes about loot spawns and player traffic patterns. Next to it was a page of bullet points analyzing which weapons worked best at different ranges. "What is all this?" He looked up like I'd caught him doing something embarrassing. "Just taking notes. Helps me remember." "You're studying a video game." "I'm learning it properly." He tapped the notebook. "There's a lot of strategy involved. Circle positioning, resource management, risk assessment. It's basically chess with guns." I picked up the notebook and flipped through pages of detailed observations written in his precise handwriting. He'd tracked his matches, noted what went wrong, analyzed why he died, and what he should have done differently. The man who used to ask me how to attach photos to emails had turned Fortnite into a graduate-level course. "This is insane," I said. "It's working." He pulled up his stats on screen. "I'm averaging top 25 placements now. Got my first solo win last week." He said it with the same quiet pride he'd had when he told me he'd paid off the mortgage early. I started watching him play after that, curious to see what had hooked him so completely. He wasn't fast or flashy like the streamers I'd seen, but he was methodical. He'd land somewhere quiet, gather materials, study the circle, and position himself where other players would have to rotate through his line of sight. When he got in fights, he didn't panic. He took his time, hit his shots, and built just enough to stay protected without wasting materials. "Where'd you learn to play like that?" I asked after watching him eliminate 3 players in a row. "I've been watching videos." He finished healing and started moving toward the next circle. "There's this whole community of people who analyze the game at a competitive level. It's fascinating." "Competitive level? Dad, you're 67. So? My brain still works." He glanced at me between matches. "Better than sitting around watching TV waiting to die." That was the first time I realized this wasn't just a hobby for him. He'd spent 40 years as an accountant, retired with a pension and no plan, and suddenly had nothing to do with his time except exist. Fortnite gave him something to master, something to improve at, something that made him feel sharp again. He queued into another match, and I watched him drop into the map with the confidence of someone who'd done this 1,000 times. "You're actually getting pretty good at this," I said. He smiled without looking away from the screen. "I know. Full story on my channel below."